This is going to be a film study of Christian Watson's breakout performance and the Packers' win over the Cowboys in Week 10. I'll be honest with you, I'm one of the people who is not surprised. Not surprised at a lot of things in that situation. If you saw any film of him from college, you knew that he was an explosive athlete, especially for being 6'5", 200 pounds. What did surprise me is that he was a second-round pick. I understood that there was people who talked about the receiving skills, and he's only super effective on jet sweeps and counter plays, reverses, whatever. You see the talent that's there, and we'll get into the film here in a couple of minutes. Another aspect that I'm not surprised about, and I don't mean to turn this into a social media gripe session. Since the Ravens didn't play this week, I was kind of doing work and tracking the scores of the games on ESPN and Twitter. It was so weird. I saw tweets pop up about how Christian Watson was sorry. Packers never should have picked him, and my brain thought, what is going on? Because I wasn't watching the Packers game. You'll see the first two plays here. He had a drop, or two, I guess, if you want to apply the second one as a drop to him, and then explodes for 3 touchdowns later on that were tremendously important in terms of the final score, and the Packers getting a win. I don't know how he was a second-round pick with the athleticism that's there. I'll continue to talk about RAS score in recent videos because it just seems like some of the guys who are making plays are guys that tremendously athletic, tremendous talent athletically, probably high RAS scores. I don't have those memorized, but if someone who's listening wants to post it up in the comment section, go right ahead. We're going to get into the film. Look, he's only got 14 catches for the year, a little less than 200 yards, 7 first downs. So on 22 targets, 14 catches. If you want to say like he's underperforming, go right ahead. It ain't underperforming when you go 4 catches for 107 and 3 touchdowns. That's not underperforming in a game that you won by 3. And he had 2 huge plays there. The catch on the 4th and 7 for a touchdown, and then down near the end zone. They are essentially double-teaming him out of a man-free situation, but by that point I think the Cowboys had understood or recognized that they just couldn't guard him when he had any space to deal with. So we're going to get 14 plays, I think, and the first 2 not going to be favorable towards Christian Watson. At least one of them is a drop. Okay, fine. Young guy. That happens. Going to be up top here. 2nd and 5 on the first possession. Going to be like a little in cut, I believe. Ball's put on his hands. Drop against man coverage. I'm just not sure how you can be a fan of a team and be so critical. Because it seemed like the tweets I saw was from Packers fans. And that's tough. It's tough. It wouldn't be all Packers fans, obviously. There'll be plenty of them that are going to be patient with a guy who has had injury trouble this year, hasn't gotten regular snaps. But the situation the Packers are in with their offense and their receiver position group specifically, and I don't know how you wouldn't be rooting for this guy to get more balls thrown to him, even if he does have some drops. Same possession, I think, very next play, 3rd and 5, up at the top, facing man coverage. Rodgers goes to him. I don't know if this is a drop. It's a ball that's thrown there that he could catch. Let's put it that way. I think this ball is perfectly thrown by Aaron Rodgers outside of the reach of the corner. Maybe the corner gets a hand on it, but I don't think so. I'm not giving you the the end zone angle. Could go down as a drop for him because the ball's in his hands. He doesn't come up with it against tight man coverage. Cool. Good for him, man. So it should just serve as fuel for the fire. Ended up leading to a missed field goal on the first possession, I believe. All right, fast forwarding to the 4th possession. It's a 3rd and 3. Watson's down here as the point man in the bunch. Not targeted because they take a sack. There's times where, if you ask me, guys are making themselves available. This isn't necessarily one of them. And it turns out being a negative play. But the coaches see something that they can use later on. And I think this might be one of those instances. When you see the get off and the speed that he's got, when he just starts to run, the coaches see it every day in practice, don't get me wrong. It's from about like the 22, somewhere around there. After he sheds the guy who's the DB number 26, who's putting hands on him. There's an acceleration there that's like, okay, we got to try to get this guy the football because other things aren't working. So having said that, next possession, I believe, you got a 3rd and 1 under center. Watson down here at the bottom, facing man coverage. Same guy he's dealt with at least twice, maybe 3 times. Going to be his first career touchdown versus man coverage. Play action concept. Rodgers fakes. It's over. Ball could have even been thrown slightly better. He ends up having to snake towards the sideline to make the catch. He's leaving this guy right now. Ball could have probably been thrown a little bit more up the bottom of the numbers and then maybe even a little further out in front of him, but Rodgers put it in. To me, Rodgers, I mean, he's spectacular. What can you say about Aaron Rodgers? To me, he's putting us in a position where Christian Watson has a great chance to catch it and very little chance for it to be overthrown. I think this is intentionally thrown here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is trying to throw it here so Watson can run onto it easily and throws it, to the backside. I think he's throwing it there intentionally so that Watson has a really high % chance to catch it. And yes, he did do a backflip there. I don't think the film caught it, though. It caught it on the television view. End zone angle, same play. Like I said, 3rd and 1 play action concept. And I think he knew where he was going with the football the whole time. You're getting under routes by these two guys here. I think just to hold the safety. They're initially run blocking. Packers need this. They need this playmaking. They need this explosive ability. And they need somebody who can, take the top off of defenses. There was like 4 possessions in a row. I get my plays from the NFL.com. So there's like 4 possessions in a row where he's not targeted, not a part of the offensive sequence at all. This is now the 9th possession, I think. It's a 1st and 10, and they finally kind of go back to him. I think I do give you the all-22. It's a back shoulder. You would like to see Christian Watson be able to adjust to that a little more. It looks like to me Aaron Rodgers has made the read in terms of the coverage by the corner and where Aaron Rodgers, should throw the football. And Christian Watson did not make that same read as quickly. That's just experience, is all that is. Doesn't mean that the guy's not going to be able to do those things. If you look at the athleticism, particularly on these plays, that we're going to show you all 3 touchdowns, it's all there. This is just, to me, practice time working with the quarterback, and then going back into the huddle and talking to the quarterback, and the quarterback talking to you about, hey, you make your read about where we're going to throw this football right now. Or actually, probably a little sooner than that. We're not beating him vertically. There's nowhere. He is fast, he being Christian Watson. We're not beating him vertically on this because he's on top of us now. He's got inside leverage. It's going to be very difficult to throw this ball out there. We're going to throw this as the back shoulder. And that's just practice time, more reps, more opportunities to communicate with the quarterback immediately after the rep for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe a little less, or talk about it after practice or in meetings. Having said all that, same possession. He's up top. Again, dealing with man coverage. Same corner. It's not Diggs. There's a sack. So it's not like every situation for Christian Watson, once he got his first touchdown, was all gravy. Kind of looks like he's getting jacked up here. Defensive lineman winning easily. No opportunity to get him to football, even though you have an in-breaking route, number 13, late coming across the field that looks like it will be open. Next possession, huge moment for the Packers and Christian Watson. 4th and 7, and they needed this. Going for it, on this side of the 50. Outside receiver in the bunch. And this is pretty easy, to be honest with you. A space release. And what I mean by a space release is all 3 guys going different directions. You're going to get one guy going out. Watson late coming across. And then the 3rd receiver is going to bring it back in here. So he would be a late option. I think Rodgers knew where he was going with this football, to be honest with you, the whole time. I think he knew that Watson will be able to win here against man coverage, and he wins easily. It doesn't mean it's not a great throw. It's an amazing throw by Aaron Rodgers. But it's not like the throw had to get Christian Watson open. He's wide open. It's just a great throw because it's 4th and 7. There's a little bit of pressure, and Rodgers got to step up to make the throw. So once he steps up, he doesn't know what these 2 edge rushers are doing. He just has to trust his offensive linemen that they're going to protect him, give him a moment, drops it in there perfectly over the defender. Christian Watson is a weapon. I'm not sure. Again, on draft night, he was one of those guys I thought to myself, I don't know how he fell to the second round. As a Ravens fan, would I have wanted him at 25? Well, no, to be honest with you, no. But, at 37 or whatever the other pick was the Ravens had, I think maybe it was 38, something like that when they got Ojabo. If he's there, you take him. This is an 11-play drive, 89 yards. They go down, and I think they tie the score on this. It's a 3rd and 2, guys. And I'll give you the all 22 in a minute. You get an under route by Watson. Seam route here. So I think they're just clearing this space out intentionally to attack this inside linebacker. Watch the way the tight end approaches the linebacker. He doesn't really approach him like a run block, but he clearly tries to contact him and carry him upfield. What I mean by carry is not like actually physically have something in your hands and carry it, but try to influence that linebacker to go upfield with him a little bit, just enough to where the under route by Watson is there. 3rd and 2, big catch, if you ask me, big catch to gain 3 yards. Like I said, 11-play drive, 89 yards. They go down, tie the score at 28 all. All 22, same play. You can see the under route by Watson. And this is the linebacker, Leighton Vander Esch, that's going to get carried a little bit by this linebacker. I think you've also got a vertical here by the inside slot receiver. Great design, if you ask me. Again, I think Aaron Rodgers knew where he was going. It's essentially mesh, but it's a one-receiver mesh, meaning mesh is normally, 2 guys running the under drags, and the guy that I have always said on this channel is open consistently is the drag coming from the opposite side of where the running back releases, because what happens is that space normally gets opened up by that running back's route, pulling the defender out of that area. In this case, it is Watson, running the drag opposite where the running back released to, but it's thrown before the top of the numbers where the space is opened up, but it's thrown before that because that's just Rodgers' read. It's great design, if you ask me. If Leighton Vander Esch had stayed underneath, then he could have thrown the ball to the tight end, climbing over the top of him. Play action, 1st and goal, ties the game up with the 7-yard touchdown catch from the right-hand side of the screen. It's man-free, if you ask me. But they essentially double him. Diggs is on the outside. The slot corner is just beat. Number 1. I don't know if he's pulling up. I'm talking about this guy right here. I don't know if he's pulling up because of his read, but there's no other receivers on this side. Like, there's no other work for him over there. To me, this looks like I can't guard this guy. I can't keep up with him. I'm just releasing him to the safety who is also beat. That's not just speed. That's elite speed. You're talking about 2 guys. One of them is inside leverage by 3 yards. I think we give you the end zone angle too. I guess that's 3 yards from Watson's left foot to that safety's left foot. I'm talking about, drawing an L. So 3 yards from here to here. I'm not talking about the vertical separation, in terms of the line of scrimmage because Watson's on the line. That's elite speed, just outrunning guys. Essentially a climb concept because you got the tight end to the bottom side of the screen, running out into the flats. Just holding this corner, so creating all this space over here, over top of the corner, because they held him with a little flat route, delayed flat route at that. Great play concept, easy for Aaron Rodgers and Christian Watson. It wouldn't surprise me if the guy ends up with 10 touchdowns. There'll probably be some negative people come on here and say he'll be lucky to have 5. I don't think so. Too talented, too fast. And at this point, to be honest with you, I think he's still got some residual anger about the way that he was spoke about, especially on social media by a lot of people, even during the game. That first 2 plays I showed you go down as drops, I guess, I would assume. Man, this guy looks like a steal for the Packers. When someone can produce 3 touchdowns in one game on at least 2 similar concepts, all right? That's repeatable. Is it repeatable 6 times a year? No. But that's the type of bunch production that hits 2 and sometimes 3 times a year. In my opinion, Christian Watson looks like a 10-plus touchdown guy a year right now in terms of playing a 17-game season. And that's a floor, for real. They get him the ball on other concepts. He does have some carries this year already. I know he had a 14-yard carry 1 week 15-yard carry, and then like a 8 or 9-yard carry. Did score a touchdown in week 4 on a rushing play, I believe. Maybe that was the 14 or 15-yard carry that I'm referring to. I don't think he only has like 4 or 5 carries already so far this season. Hasn't played a whole lot of snaps. If memory serves, 4 of the games that he's played in, he's had less than 20 snaps. And 2 games he's had 40 snaps or more. This last one had like 56 snaps, 58, somewhere around that number. I don't remember it off the top of my head. Injuries have played a role in limiting his production. I think as long as he's healthy and available on the field at 6'5", with his catch radius and his speed, they just got to figure out ways to get him the ball. And as crazy as this sounds, because I know the Packers have been a mess offensively in a lot of ways this year, I think if this guy's on the field consistently, they go from, whatever your grade is for their offense this year. Probably some people would say C- or C. To me, they jump up a full grade, a full letter grade. So if it's C-, it jumps to B-. If it's C, it jumps to B. I just think the guy has so much potential. Watching his college film, which I actually did watch about 5 games of during the pre-draft process, it, to me, looked like a guy that was of the caliber of a mid to late first-round pick because of the potential that's there. You can let me know if you agree or disagree with that assessment. I did not. I think I did 1 video on Christian Watson in the pre-draft process. That was for a previous YouTube channel that's since been deleted. Not bad. I'm out of my control, so I cannot prove that unless you were my Patreon and I shared that video with you privately through a share drive or something like that, because I can't put it on YouTube because it's copyright material. I appreciate you guys checking out the video. Let me know what you think of Christian Watson's 3-touchdown performance, how he really changed the game, if you ask me, against the Cowboys, and what you think of my assessment, my breakdown and analysis. If you think I missed any elements to his play and to the game, let me know in the comments section. Appreciate you guys' time.